Hey guys, Smoothscape here, and today I'm going to be talking about something a lot of you guys were concerned about, and that was when the beta goes live, will Tribridding be dead or not? So we're going to test that today and see what happens. So I'm here in Edgeville. As you can see, I've got my mage gear on. I've got a yak with me. Now in my inventory, I've got all my Tribrid gear on. I've got melee gear. I've also got range gear. And I decided to only test out two-handed weapons. I didn't want to use any dual wielding because it would get a little complicated. Now over here, I have my abilities selected for all three different skills. And I'm going to take a step into the wilderness and see what happens. Alright guys, I'm going to play some PK clips of me in the background and give you guys a little commentary so you guys can just watch and listen. Now I've noticed a few problems with the beta as far as PK is concerned in general. Everyone is wearing maxed out gear, and everyone is attacking everything they can since there's no risk. And since it's multi-combat, everything is just getting really cluttered. I had trouble finding anyone to go one-on-one, so for me to even get a fight, I actually had to interfere in other fights, which I wasn't a big fan of. Now as far as Tribridding ability, I think people who thought it was dead shouldn't be too worried. Yes, there's an ability restriction when you switch to items of a different class, but it's not as much of a handicap because they've recently improved auto-retaliate mechanics and upped the damage a bit. Now when the beta was originally released, fighting and using abilities took a lot of attention, and it was really tiring to do for a long period of time. The biggest problem I've seen for potential Tribridders is switching ability bars. Now on the left side I have a melee bar, a range bar, and a magic bar all set up for different abilities that I want to use. And it just became an absolute pain to switch from one to the other after switching equipment, because there was like a split-second delay, and that delay could be really crucial when you're fighting somebody. It can cost you that, that last second life point or that last hit that you need. Another thing that I found annoying is that you can't select the spell to autocast and then switch to a melee item, for example. What's going to happen is you're going to try to cast a spell with the melee item in your hand. So for example, if you made a switch from melee to a magic staff and wanted to cast a spell, you'd have to add that spell to your ability bar and use your abilities and that spell in the same way. So basically, you wouldn't have an auto cast besides meleeing your opponent with your staff, which wouldn't do much damage anyway and doesn't have much of a point. The other option is to quickly set that spell as your auto cast, but when switching to melee or range, you're going to have the same problem as before. Now, range and melee switching, on the other hand, is relatively easy though, as you don't have to deal with any of this and they basically have a built-in auto attack. As far as the entire wilderness being a multi-combat zone, I see it as both a good thing and a bad thing. Now, I think Jagex had the intention of doing this for multiple reasons, one possibly being because the game engine couldn't handle having certain areas being single-way combat, which is why they're making the entire game multi-combat. And they also brought in the Crucible shortly before actually introducing the beta. Now, the Crucible is strictly single-way combat, so I think they had the intention of, or at least the understanding of what this would do to the wilderness, so the Crucible was basically their last stand on single-way combat. Now, it also makes the wilderness a little bit more dangerous, which is kind of the way it was when RuneScape was originally released. And I do like that to some extent. Also, it's going to make having a clan much more beneficial. As you can see now, you're going to get hit by so many people at the same time that if you're not going into the wild with a partner or two or an entire clan, you're probably going to get knocked out at some point. Now, the bottom line is bringing in Tribrid equipment into the wild is most likely going to benefit you. At the moment, it's a pretty big nuisance to deal with item switching and ability bar switching as well, so you probably won't see most others bringing multiple classes of items. And since having an advantage in the combat triangle is much more significant now, you'll definitely benefit. In this last clip, I originally had a one-on-one fight going on, and then I basically got PJ'd by a whole bunch of people at the same time. As you can see, I was kind of panicking and spam clicking my food, but I didn't stand a chance at all, and as you can see the final result, I ended up dying. So the multi thing is going to be, it's going to make things a little bit different. Alright guys, as always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.